All right, so I'm so excited today. I'm here with chat. We're doing a nice long Ren stream today. We're gonna be reacting to Ren's Freckled Angels album, which I've wanted to get to for a long time. Haven't done any Ren stuff in the past 2 weeks ish. I think Money Game Part 3 was the last Ren reaction I did. I believe. I could be wrong. Look, I don't even know what I do on my own channel sometimes. All right, don't hate me. So we're gonna do that. Everybody in chat, say hello YouTube if you would like to. So yeah, we're gonna go through the whole thing today. It might be one long video on YouTube when I release it. It might be a whole separate thing, but we'll see. But we're gonna go through it. So the first one is "Make My Way," as people in the chat have mentioned, as it says here. This was released in 2016 under his own label. He was very sick at this time, so I'm sure that we're gonna be kind of a mixture of different themes for the album, right? But I want to get into it. For those of you who are new to the channel, what we do here is I will listen to the song. I'll stop it here an hour I think is important, and then we'll talk about the message. We'll talk about the music. I do stop it a lot, so if that's not your thing, go ahead and feel free to click away. But I like to stop and break down what I'm hearing at the time I hear it, because it's more authentic, and otherwise I might forget what I want to say at the end. Even if I write down notes, it's just not, it doesn't feel authentic. So I'll be doing that. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that fun stuff. Make sure you support Ren. Follow him. He's almost up to 1.2 mil already. It's amazing what we've done to help him out. Like the videos, all that fun stuff. All right, let's get into this, guys. Lonnie, you ready? Garnet, you ready? Aviar, you ready? I'm ready. This is "Make My Way" by Ren on the Freckled Angels album. Track 1. Here we go. Okay, fixed it. Thank you for telling me.
Make my way, I'll make my way, believe me. Life can be such trouble, honey, nothing comes easy. They say that sleep is the cousin of death, and so I keep pushing forward till my last breath.
Sleep is the cousin of death. I feel like he said that before.
Believe me, life can be such trouble, honey, nothing comes easy. They say that sleep is the cousin of death, and so I keep pushing forward till my last breath.
A lot of like MIDI sounds going on.
Almost 3 whole nights, the sun it hurts my eyes, and I prefer the night when the world it doesn't move. My brain don't feel right, feels computerized. No switch can still my mind, chemicals don't seem to soothe. So I lie awake, just making beats and breaks. It's like the music takes me to a place where there's no pain. So on
Chemicals, what did he say? Sorry, chemicals seem to soothe.
right, feels computer. I haven't slept in almost 3 whole nights. The sun it hurts my eyes, and I prefer the night when the world it doesn't move. My brain don't feel right, feels computerized. No switch can still my mind, chemicals don't seem to soothe.
Seems computerized, chemicals don't seem to soothe. Right? Just feels like he's in a funk, almost like he's living but not really alive, right? That's been a common theme when he's been talking about his illness. But let's keep going.
So I lie awake when the world it doesn't move. My brain don't feel right, feels computerized. No switch can still my mind, chemicals don't seem to soothe. So I lie awake, just making beats and breaks. It's like the music takes me to a place where there's no pain. So I'll make my way, and yeah, I'll make my way.
So he said something. He said something there too that I think, honestly, in my humble opinion, of course, saved his life. It saved my life. You know, he said,
the music takes me to a place where there's no pain. So
the music takes me to a place where there's no pain. Yeah. I mentioned before, college, I went through kind of hell mentally, and music is what kept me alive for that. And it's obvious music has kept Ren alive, 100%. I think without it, I don't think he would be here. I think it was a way for him to mourn. It was a way for him to deal with his issues, instead of, you know, some people like journaling, some people like writing, some people, there's all these different ways that people cope with what they're going through. And in therapy, I'm learning the copious amounts of ways to do it, and only one might work for you, right? Music was his escape. And because all of that feeling, all of that emptiness, all of that, frustration, anger, emotion went all into his music, it created this beautiful thing, right? Let's keep let's keep going.
Beats and breaks, it's like the music takes me to a place where there's no pain. So I'll make my way, and yeah, I'll make my way.
Make my way, I'll make my way. Believe me, life can be such trouble, honey. Nothing comes easy. They say that sleep is the cousin of death, and so I keep pushing forward till my last breath.
Make my
That chorus is prevalent in hip hop to have like that high pitched vocal, but it's just weird. It feels almost it makes sense in the song, but it feels almost out of place for a Ren track. I feel like we're getting a different aspect of Ren here. I want to talk about the production, but I'll talk about it at the end of the song.
Life can be such trouble, honey. Nothing comes easy. They say that sleep is the cousin of death, and so I keep pushing forward till my last breath.
Make my way, I'll make my way, believe me. Life can be such trouble, honey, nothing comes easy. They say that sleep is the cousin of death, and so I keep pushing forward till my last breath.
There's so much going on with the production.
Shaped like bedroom floors and skirting boards. My brain is sore but crystal clear. It's 4:30 a.m. here on my laptop in full gear, making beats that paint my speakers, seek to reach the hemisphere. Sun it rises, fills the sky, salutes me like a cavalier. I feel whole but yet so broke. I walk a rope, the tightest rope. I cannot escape, my mind is broke. My thoughts are inside the microscope and I'm soaked. Swimming in a sea full of soul, drowning in solitude, drowning in foes. Swimming in rivers of Babylon, bubbling, troubling, holding me down by my throat.
Let me hear all that one more time, and then we'll talk about it.
Seek to reach the hemisphere. Sun it rises, fills the sky, salutes me like a cavalier. I feel whole but yet so broke. I walk a rope, the tightest rope. I cannot escape, my mind is broke. My thoughts are inside the microscope and I'm soaked. Swimming in a sea full of soul, drowning in solitude, drowning in foes. Swimming in rivers of Babylon, bubbling, troubling, holding me down by my throat.
It's interesting. Oh, you're a good JMK. It's very interesting right there because what he's talking about is very like literally highs. Well, Gracie talks about being on a tightrope, right? Tightrope, usually you're pretty high up on the tightrope and you're walking, right? There's multiple meanings to that. Being on a tightrope, right? You feel like you're very close to falling, right? That makes sense for that. But then he also talks about drowning. Those are two polar opposite things, being very high up and drowning, right? Literally, like distance-wise, they're very different things. But that just shows the kind of, it shows his perspective on how he's felt, right? Whether he feels like he's on a tightrope, like he could fall, or he's drowning. No matter where he is on the spectrum, he feels like he's lost. So I really kind of enjoyed that polarity there to discuss that no matter what, he feels like shit. Really cool artistic way of doing it.
Broke my thoughts are inside the microscope and I'm soaked. Swimming in a sea full of soul, drowning in solitude, drowning in foes. Swimming in rivers of Babylon, bubbling, troubling, holding me down by my throat. I try to breathe, I choke. I'm clinging on to hope. The problems of this world live in the lump inside my throat. I've fallen hard from grace. My angels hide their face, but hey, I'll make my way.
Make my way, I'll make my way. Believe me, life can be such trouble.
Yeah, man.
Nothing comes easy. They say that sleep is cousin of death, and so I keep.
It's the perseverance, I think. Oh, I didn't realize I didn't have. It's okay. It's the perseverance there, I feel, that is honestly the best part of the message of this. And really all of his music, to be real with you, is that the perseverance that he had through all of that struggle to still, be like, I'll make my way through this type of thing. It's also a coping mechanism, 100%, but it's also good to know that. And yeah, that line, holding on to hope, you're right, Garnet, was incredible too. Like, he's gonna, whatever hope, even if it's minuscule, very tiny amount of hope, he's gonna hold on to it. Great line.
Comes easy. They say that sleep is the cousin of death, and so I keep pushing forward till my last breath.
Make my way, I'll make my way, believe me. Life can be such trouble, honey, nothing comes easy. They say that sleep is the cousin of death, and so I keep pushing forward till my last breath.
DJ Ren is here.
What, huh?
The amount of like low pass on the keys right here is crazy. What I mean by the low pass, so with EQ, right, when you kind of take away the lows and you have the highs and the mids there, you're gonna get that literally condensed feeling, like you're putting whatever instrument it is into a tight sealed box and only some of that sound is coming out. That's the low pass. That's that condensed sound. There's a lot of that on the MIDI keyboard there for the chorus. But a lot of the production on this is very, you can tell that this was early on in his career, and that's not to say that it's bad. It's just less polished, if that makes sense. There's a lot less like reverb and delay, and some of the parts are a little bit too loud from the other parts. Very subtle, but you can tell it's early in his. But it's very unique, the sound that he has and the sounds he puts together to create the music. And this one, you know, his last album leaned heavily into the hip hop elements. This is very much like who's the artist I'm trying to think of? I can't think of his name, but he used to be on. It was a makeshift home studio in his bedroom. Yeah, 100%. That's how I'm recording too. So it's no knock on him. I'm sure I don't know if he still records in that or whatever, but we all start somewhere and we gradually get better as we go along, right? I'm just saying you can tell it's earlier in his career because you learn so much as you continue to practice and just do, right? And you know, this is almost 10 years ago, so there's going to be 7 years ago. There's going to be, you know, discrepancies in the work. He can't be perfect from the beginning to the end. But exactly. Yeah, no, it sounds great. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying the stuff he has now sounds really good. Like this one sounds like an indie record. This song sounded like an indie record. His new stuff does not. It sounds professional. So that's kind of what I'm getting at. But no, the sound is very unique even in his early stuff, right? We have hip hop elements, right, with the scratching album, the scratching DJ scratches. We have sort of some like hip hop stuff or hip hop verses in the song that really are like kind of sing-songy. So it's more sing-songy with a little bit of hip hop, right? We have Ren in this 100%. So you hear the, you know, the pop elements, you hear the hip hop, you hear the beat making elements. This sounds a lot like an early or like 2010s ish rhyme sayer stuff where they have like these kind of feel good, chill, hip hop, sing songy songs that kind of deal with heavy stuff. I've mentioned the artist before, Grieve. So yeah, it sounds a little bit like a Greaves tune, to be honest with you. His kind of later stuff where it was very like feel goody. So that's what I get from this. One of my favorite things about Ren is how unique his music is and how you never know what to expect when you hear it. I've been saying it every video and I need to stop it because I always feel like I go into a song like, oh, I have an idea what this is going to be. And then he always surprises me somehow. Whether it's, oh, this is a unique beat or this is a unique way he's using his voice or using the instruments, whatever. There's always something new he brings to every track. Okay, so that was Make My Way by Ren. I really liked that one. Like I said, chill hip hop, kind of sing-songy hip hop song. That's one of those ones where I would put on in the background and just vibe out to, right? So let's see. The next one is an actual music video and it's all right. So we're gonna go ahead and get that one started. Dang, does he look young. All right, so this is Ren, It's All Right, the official music video. Here we go.
So it's 6:30 in the morning, an ungodly hour. The sun is literally just rising. The sky looks beautiful, and we're about to go to town and spread some love.
Baby Ren. He honestly looks like he's 15. The acoustic guitar, nice reverb there.
I've walked through the darkest days with no light, with no light, with no light. Stumbling through my head's maze, left and right, left and right, left and right. Heard that same old beautiful phrase. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. Lose myself into the dark of the night, ready for the night, of the night. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright.
A very simple song, right? Guitar, some vocals, production behind it to make it feel fuller, but I love his high-pitched singing as always, or his falsetto, I guess. Even back then, his singing is very like tonally accurate and he has good control of his voice. I like when an album has simpler songs on it because there's less room. Not that Ren does this obviously, but like hiding things in the production, if that makes sense. Hiding inefficiencies in the production, stuff like that. So the simpler songs, while a lot of them honestly tend to have more stuff going on post to make it sound fuller, you have a lot less room for errors because there's a guitar in his voice. That's it. Right. So like, I like that element of it. And it's nice to see that when he was in pain during this time, he was able to get out a little bit. That's really cool.
Something out of yourself, give something to somebody.
Just doing a small gesture.
Without having to respect nothing back.
We are all human and just accept that we're all here together.
Just love each other and be good to each other.
Be kind.
Give people something. Contribute.
Sharing's caring, to be fair.
So when you go home tonight, you sit in your bed and you think to yourself, do you know what, I just feel great today, and it makes you feel good.
It makes life better, I think.
It's nothing to say hello to someone, smile at someone.
It really will make you feel good. And I'm not just saying that because I'm homeless.
I think I'm a firm believer that music brings all plethoras of people together. You know, there's a lot, especially now in the world, trying to divide all of us. And that's by design. I won't get into that, but I think having stuff like this where it's like they're literally walking on the street, you know, asking people to say something about, you know, something positive, right? What can you do to make someone's day? And just hearing all of these good things kind of that these random people on the street are saying, like, gives me hope for humanity. I'm one of those people that has been pessimistic about humanity, so I needed this video.
So when you go home tonight, you sit in your bed and you think to yourself, do you know what, I just feel great today, and it makes you feel good.
It makes life better, I think.
It's nothing to say hello to someone, smile at someone.
It really will make you feel good. And I'm not just saying that because I'm homeless.
Messages on the ground where you walk, right? Could change your perspective.
Never gonna let go, take this with both.
Ooh, I like this.
Never gonna let go, take this with both hands. Never gonna let go, take this with both hands. I'm gonna take this with both hands. Never gonna let go, take this with both hands. Never gonna let go, take this with both hands. Never gonna let go, take this with both hands. Never gonna let go.
I want to mention something here because people, you know, it's obvious that in music or art, right, the decisions you make to add things to music to make it kind of more epic is an artistic decision. But the opposite of that is true too. Leaving out things or not adding something is also an artistic decision. In my humble opinion, it's almost a no-brainer to add piano to this part. Right? And you have the bass of the piano and the right hand kind of mirroring the guitar. It would just make it so much more epic and heavy. But he decided not to do that. And that's an artistic decision that I respect him for, because he wanted to make the song the way he made the song. I think every decision is a decision. And I think that's really cool. I just wanted to mention that because I think a lot of people sometimes forget that decisions go both ways, whether it's leaving something out that probably could have been there or adding something in.
It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright.
Surprised it's not raining in the UK.
It's alright, it's alright, it's alright.
Sorry, squirrel moment. Is that a dog playing piano?
It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright.
Okay. Speaking of piano, it's on the left side.
It's alright, it's alright, it's alright.
Just goes to show you. So instead of doing it right off the bat, he decided to wait till the end to add the piano to make that epic kind of sound at the end. It's almost as if he's a musician.
It's alright, it's alright, it's alright.
See? Exactly what I said. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. What a quote. Who was that? Who says that? You gonna tell me? Nope. Look, a simple song. The message, is spreading love. Telling somebody else, hey, it's gonna be all right. Sometimes that's honestly all somebody needs, is somebody, whether it's somebody somebody random, is just saying, hey, everything's going to be all right. It's funny. I go into my therapy sessions every week. When I go into those things, I'm very open about like talking what's bothering me, but that's like the only time I can be open, right? But it always ends up being like my therapist essentially at the end kind of like saying, look, you're doing a lot. You are enough. You are working so hard for your family, for yourself. And I think if you understand that, everything will be okay. And when I come out of it, right, I'm just like, okay, he's just being a therapist. But when you really think about it, like sometimes hearing that can change how you look at the rest of your day. And my wife has always said, like, the days you have therapy, you're always in such a better mood. And I don't really recognize it just because I'm not paying attention to my mood. I'm paying attention to everything else. Yeah, it's kind of amazing what like positive affirmations from anybody can do for you, right? Yeah. As usual, Ren, even in a simplistic song like that, finds a way to make it deep and uplifting, right? So the next one, Dominoes, replacing the negative self-talk. Ever since I told my wife too that like my biggest thing is that I have like the self-doubt that I'm a failure type of stuff, which I mentioned before was what Matthew Perry was going through and ultimately led to his addictions. She started to notice that I do downplay myself a lot. I'll say, oh, I'm stupid, or I'll say I'm bad at that, or I suck, but hey, type of thing. Like it's always negative. And for a long time, I thought it was like the Eminem theory, right? Where when he would battle rap, he would talk about himself. He basically diss himself. And it was like, oh, I'm just being funny, right? You can't say the bad things about me if I'm already saying it, type of thing. But that still means that I think what I'm saying is true, right? So I have to get out of that mindset. And like you said, replace the negative self-talk. That's key. This is Ren, Dominoes. I've been wanting to listen to this one for a while, so I'm glad I get to hear it. So let's just get into it. You know I love guitar. I've seen like Rorschach images.
Dominoes, dominoes, dominoes falling. Oh, you build this like dominoes, dominoes, dominoes falling. You build us up just to knock us back down. Funny how you act surprised when we hit the ground. We're like dominoes,
Oof.
dominoes, dominoes falling. So bleed me of all my self-belief. My smile shows all my insecurity.
Insecurity. Interesting choice for how he's doing the beat. It's almost like rustling in the background, but it's to a rhythm, so that's making the beat. You had the very compressed guitar at the beginning that kind of slowly faded into the foreground. Again, very subtle mixing techniques that really bring a song together. Dominoes are falling. See? Didn't even click with me. That's smart.
Dominoes falling. So bleed me of all my self-belief. My smile shows all my insecurity.
Right.
In a kingdom.
It's highly edited, meaning there's a lot of modulation to it and cuts and stuff to make it to a rhythm, but that makes sense.
All my insecurity. In a kingdom of photoshopped kings and queens will never feel happy with ourselves, but insecurity sells.
Yes.
Dominoes, dominoes falling. Oh, you build us like dominoes, dominoes, dominoes falling. You build us up just to knock us back down. Funny how you act surprised when we hit the ground. We're like dominoes, dominoes, dominoes falling.
Wow, lots of production on the vocals there. Really cool how it, again, makes it feel full, right? Yeah, the insecurity sells, talking about photoshopping, kings and queens or whatever. It's one of those things that people like to shrug off. I was one of those people who used to shrug that off, right? Because as a male, I'm not really in that as much as, say, a female might be, where the people you have to look up to. So I'm just pointing people out there who are like really well known, like, Taylor Swift, Beyonce, all that stuff, like highly edited Photoshop. People look up to them. And since the industry sells sex as it is anyways, right? In selling sex, you want to make sure that the person looks like perfection. So they highly edit Photoshop, all this stuff. You're looking up, you're like, I want to look like this person, but really that person doesn't look like that person. In fact, the way they made them look is not even human. So you're trying to shoot for something that is not there. That then leads you to go into this kind of depression, insecurity, all that stuff, right? And we can get into, okay, then you're going to end up on pills. So now big pharma is making money. I'm not going to get into that, but yes, insecurity sells, right? You're going to buy makeup. You're going to buy shoes, all these clothes to try and cover your insecurities. You're going to go get surgeries. You're going to whatever, right? Somehow, some way it sells.
Build us up just to knock us back down. Funny how you act surprised when we hit the ground. We're like dominoes, dominoes, dominoes falling. I hide my head under the sheets, 'cause how can I face a world that ridicules the weak? Where beauty is sold on the shelves, forbid that we find it in ourselves. And now I'm broke, it don't come cheap.
I just said that. Where beauty is sold on the shelves, forbid that we find it in ourselves, right? Like I just said, you go buy makeup, you go buy all these things to try to hide your insecurities and make you look like something you're not, or that you want to be, instead of trying to find the beauty within ourselves. 100%.
In ourselves, and now I'm broke, it don't come cheap.
And in doing all of that, you're now out of money because you spent so much money trying to be something you're not.
Oh, you built this like dominoes, dominoes, dominoes fall. falling. Oh, you build us like dominoes, dominoes, dominoes falling. You build us up just to knock us back down. Funny how you act surprised when we hit the ground. We're like dominoes, dominoes, dominoes falling. Araya was the most beautiful girl in this world.
Ooh, I like that dissonance. Very subtle, right? Instead of singing in the falling, falling, he kind of goes into I don't know if it's a dissonant note. It's still in the scale, but it's a note that it gives tension, right?
Araya was the most beautiful. Dominoes, dominoes falling. Araya was the most.
It's a 7. It's a sharp 7. That's a leading tone. Leading tone into the 1. That gives that huge dissonance. We've talked about that before. Okay, sorry. Story time.
Dominoes, dominoes falling. Araya was the most beautiful girl in this world. She shined like diamonds and rubies and pearls. But then, as soon as she turned 13, she forgot just how bright that it was that she gleamed. Stuck in the material world of magazines that glamorise fake and Photoshop beauty queens. Top 10 beauty tips making her feel inadequate. For the first time in her life, she felt ugly. So Araya stopped eating to lose weight. She spent her dinner money on some makeup for her face. But no matter how much she lost or how much she bought, she was never good enough, or so she thought. Araya felt she could never be loved. She started cutting her wrists and hiding her scars with gloves. At 16, an anorexic beauty queen, she collapses in a puddle of her tears and blood. Cause she never felt enough, she never felt enough. Your sellers sold this lie that we must buy to keep in touch. We can never buy enough, never buy enough. All the riches in the world can't buy a sense of self-love. Funny how you act surprised when depression's levels rise, when you force feed inadequacy straight into our eyes. Television shows that praise the beautiful people, and talent competitions that just laugh at the feeble. Billboards, magazines, people turn to plasticine, molded like a factory. We're growing up to fear feeling ugly. It's lunacy, a knife in the community. Cause insecurity breeds judgment, judgment breeds hate, no unity. And hierarchy based upon aesthetics is what makes a kid in school get bullied for genetics. And I felt so ugly growing up. The way that I look sometimes got me beaten up. I mean, what the fuck sort of culture do we live in, when we're defined by the shape of our face, when we're ashamed by the size of our waist, when we're imprisoned by the form that we take? And so we keep buying and spending. That's just how this story goes. You build us up just to knock us back down, and we just keep falling like dominoes.
Bro, I wanted to stop it so many times during that, but when you start hearing a story like that, it hits harder when you listen to the entire thing. Generally, I'm going to talk about it. Generally, I think men's insecurities are much different than women's insecurities. There's some overlap, but I still think there's some resonating here. So let me, we're going to listen to it again. I tear up a bit every time I hear this song. So unfortunately relatable. I believe you. I'm sure it's going to happen to me when I talk about it, but let's go through this a couple lines, line by line. I wish he had ended with the chorus one last time, but I think he wanted people to think about the message. I like where he ended it, personally. I'm all about the message of a song, not having a clear cut verse, chorus type of thing. That's subjective. Let's go through this.
Araya was the most beautiful girl in this world. She shined like diamonds and rubies and pearls.
Shine like diamonds, rubies, and pearls, right? The best notable stones, if you will, out there.
Araya was the most beautiful girl in this
beautiful
world.
Ones.
She shined like diamonds and rubies and pearls. But then, as soon as she turned 13, she forgot just how bright that it was that she gleamed. Stuck in the material world of magazines.
Junior high, which is, for those of you that aren't in the UK, if you don't know, that are in the UK, excuse me. Junior high for me, I think was 12, 13. Those are the ages, right? 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 is high school. So yeah, 12, 13 is junior high. Besides college, that was the probably worst that I ever was. It wasn't necessarily because of like my looks. It was more so just I grew up an only child, parents divorced. I felt alone my entire life. Then you're going through the hormones of, just puberty, all of those things. I was never really one to make friends, but then with the hormones and stuff, there comes bullying. I was bullied a lot for being short, for having long hair, long curly hair. I was even bullied when people kind of got to know me, right? Like, oh, it's your fault, your parents divorced type of thing. All these crazy, horrific things that you shouldn't say to a child, right? So that's where my insecurity stemmed from. And it got so bad to the point where even if somebody was genuinely being nice to me, like I had a lot of people at that time reach out to me, you know, because there'd be days where I would like go and like I'd be crying outside at the school. And I had people coming to me like, are you okay? Do you need a friend? And I was so like battered, I guess, that I just assumed that they were also going to try to get close to me to make fun of me. So now it became, I'm pushing people away because I don't want to be hurt anymore. So then it was a cyclical thing where I was just alone all the time in junior high. You know, in 8th grade, I finally started making friends and all of that stuff. And then I switched districts kind of by choice. My parents knew what was going on with me, but they wanted me to go to the best school possible to get the best education possible. So then when I switched to schools in high school, I knew nobody again. So I had a nice 2 years there being alone too. So it was very like the worst time in your life to feel alone was when I felt the most alone. And it was always like me, like, why am I not good enough to have friends? Why am I this way? Why am I that way? So it was always like that negative talk that we were talking about earlier. So I don't resonate necessarily with the things he's talking about with what she went through, but I resonate with that time period and the, you know, the negative of seeing the world around me. All these people have friends, right? All the, you know, the good looking tall kids with the deep voices. I don't have any of that. Or all have friends, girlfriends, all this stuff. Why am I the one that's alone, right? So then you change the way you look. I started changing the way I dress. I wore baggy clothes all the time to make me look bigger, and all that stuff. So similar, but not the same. Yeah, never feeling like you were enough. Tell you something that never went away for me. Never went away.
The glamorized fake and Photoshop beauty queens. Top 10 beauty tips making her feel inadequate. For the first time in her life she felt ugly. So Araya stopped eating to lose weight. She spent her dinner money on some makeup for her face. But no.
Stop eating to lose weight and spent any money she had to eat on makeup instead of literally doing something that she needs to do, which is fucking eat. She was spending it on trying to make herself somebody she is not.
Araya stopped eating to lose weight. She spent her dinner money on some makeup for her face. But no matter how much she lost or how much she bought, she was never good enough, or so she thought. Araya felt she could never be loved. She started cutting her wrists and hiding her scars with.
Never feeling. What was it?
She thought. Araya felt she could never be loved. She started.
Yeah, felt like she could never be loved. She started cutting her wrists and hiding the scars with gloves. So, yeah, man. Junior high was my only attempt at the S word since YouTube won't let me say it. I didn't do it by slitting my wrists. I went on the internet, figured out what's the artery to find the best way to just do it the quickest and least painful, because I hate pain. And I thought about it, didn't want to do it. Thought about it, didn't want to do it. And eventually I had a really bad day and I started to do it. And what stopped me was nothing but the pain. And it ended up being like literally like a small, almost like paper cut type of thing. But the pain kind of brought me back to reality, to where I was like, I don't want to do this. So, I guess me having a shit pain tolerance saved my life in that, but I understand not feeling enough takes its toll on yourself, you know. That's something I struggle with every day. So we're definitely not listening to Crutch, guys. I can't do it. I can't. Let's continue.
Was never good enough, or so she thought. Araya felt she could never be loved. She started cutting her wrists and hiding her scars with gloves. At 16, an anorexic beauty queen, she collapses in a puddle of her tears and blood. Cause she never felt enough, she never felt enough. Your sellers told this lie that we must buy to keep in touch. We can never buy enough, never buy enough. All the riches in the world can't buy a sense of self-love. Funny how you act surprised when depression's levels rise, when you force feed inadequacy straight into our eyes. Television shows that praise the beautiful people, and talent competitions that just laugh at the feeble.
This was, I think, at the peak of like American Idol, right?
When depression's levels rise, when you force feed
inadequacy straight into our eyes, right? Those competitions, especially like beauty competitions and all that stuff. It's like, who's the most beautiful? Who's the smartest? Right? It's like, I don't know about TV in the UK, but TV out here is just like brutal. And it's all about the drama. Like, I think the greatest example for me, and this is a real fast tangent. If you look at Kitchen Nightmares out here, right? It's all about Gordon Ramsay yelling at the fucking top of his lungs at people, right? Like belittling them. If you watch the British one, like Gordon Ramsay's super uplifting. Like he's a good dude. Here in America, our priorities are fucking ridiculous. I don't understand it. But anyways, let's finish the story and then
straight into our eyes. Television shows that praise the beautiful people, and talent competitions that just laugh at the feeble. Billboards, magazines, people turn to plasticine, molded like a factory. We're growing up to fear, feeling ugly. It's lunacy, a knife in the community.
I like how the beat right here is cutting out at the beat, right? Really cool technique.
See a knife in the community, cause insecurity breeds judgment, judgment breeds hate, no unity. And hierarchy based upon aesthetics is what makes a kid in school get bullied for genetics. And I felt so ugly growing up, the way that I looked sometimes got me beaten up. I mean, what the fuck sort of culture do we live in, when we're defined by the shape of our face, when we're ashamed by the size of our waist, when we're imprisoned by the form that we take? And so we keep buying and spending.
I did not hear that last time.
That's just how this story goes. You build us up just to knock us back down, and we just keep falling like dominoes.
I think it's safe to say that like Ren has always been a unique creature in regards of oh look, he actually added his Patreon to everything now. That's cool. No doubt, JM. No doubt. I worry every day. My it's a special bond between father-daughter, and I think because she's my first child, and she's our kid that's like sensitive, like she's like the most kind-hearted kid, and I don't why this makes me emotional. My biggest fear is that she's gonna get bullied. I know what I went through because of it. I won't have it. Every day I ask her how was school, and I dread the day where she's gonna say somebody made fun of her, and I know my blood will boil, and I've already told my wife, you're gonna have to hold me back from doing something stupid to whoever's kid's parent that is, because I'll tell you right now, I'm not gonna handle it. I won't be able to handle it. So I'm gonna turn what's gonna happen is I'm gonna turn my PTSD and project it onto the parent of that kid, and it's not gonna be pretty. So I feel you, JMK. Okay. Yeah. I think from my reaction to that, you guys know how I felt about that song.